Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Gio, and you are tuned in to the Georgetown Heidi.
Hot girl, hot girl, hot girl. If they say I ain't the baddest, then the mother slide. How you riding on them? Hey, asking for a ride.
First, I thought I would kind of talk about a little bit about my background. I graduated from the University of South Alabama, go Jags, down in Mobile, Alabama. You know, the home of Mardi Gras, the place where it started. I started school there in 2016 and I graduated May 2020 with my bachelor's of science in nursing. And from there, I went on to start my career in labor and delivery, where I have worked for the past 2 years. When it came to choosing what I wanted to get my next degree in, I was kind of stuck between whether I wanted to do women's health nurse practitioner or if I wanted to do midwifery. I was just kind of back and forth because I couldn't decide if, first, there's not too much of a difference between the two, but the difference was, did I really want to deliver babies or did I just want to care for women, and that's just what I care and I have a passion for. So I started out at a smaller hospital. I worked in Montgomery, Alabama for a year, and then I decided, I was like, okay, I got to see what midwives do. I got to get to a bigger hospital. I need to see more births. So I moved to the Atlanta area, the metro Atlanta area, and I moved to a bigger hospital. And there I decided, okay, I was like, okay, I definitely love delivering babies. Like, I definitely love helping women through this process. And I was also able to work with midwives. So I was able to kind of get an eye on what it was like to see what they do, because at my old hospital we only worked with OBs. So I was like, okay, I think I'm feeling this. I think I can do this. So then I went ahead and decided, like, yeah, I'm gonna do midwifery. I still kind of wanted to have that women's health nurse practitioner behind my name, just because I just kind of wanted that extra. So when it came to looking at schools, my first thing was, well, first things first, I did look into HBCUs. I was like, oh my goodness, like, I would love to be able to get my next degree from an HBCU. However, like, there were no HBCUs with a midwifery program. And it was kind of saddening, because I was like, well, darn, like, I feel like I've missed my chance. But then I was like, you know what, we still gonna get our degree, we're still gonna keep it pushing. So I had to decide, like, what do I want to do next? So I started looking, and I knew, like, I really want to do a degree. I really want my midwifery and my women's health nurse practitioner. I know it's possible to find programs that would do both of them in the same program, because they're so similar. Like, you can't tell me that I can't put these two degrees together. So I was looking around, and there were a couple of programs that actually have the program that I was looking for. Only a couple that definitely put my school list very small. They definitely cut it down. But then I started looking into Georgetown, and at first I was like, Georgetown, too much money. First thing I thought. But then what happened was, I got in contact with one of the admissions counselors, and she was great, honestly. She stayed in contact with me. I mean, they waived my application fee. It was things like that. But I started looking in September of 2021. That's when I started looking for schools for the following fall, all the way in September 2022, just because I'm that kind of person. I believe you should think a year ahead. So that's what I did. And when I was talking to her, she was like, yes, you can still apply. Like, she was like, you're super early, because our applications for that semester that you're trying to start won't start until, they won't close until, like, all the way in July. And I was like, oh, great. Great. Like, so after talking to the admissions counselor, I was stuck. I didn't know if I, how I truly felt about the school. But she also put me into a lot of stuff. She was like, you should really look into their values and their mission statement and stuff. She was like, you would really, like, she was like, the stuff that you're talking to me about is, like, a lot of their mission and their values. And I was like, okay. So I started looking at it, and one of their, like, a big part of their mission and values, they talk about health equity. And honestly, let's be real, a lot of schools are not even, they, they talk about it, they have their discussions, but to put it at the forefront of their school, that stood out to me a lot, because they do a lot of research on health equity, and what that's talking about is, there's a difference between equality and equity. Equality is, I'm going to give you the same thing I gave this person because that's equal. Equity is, you don't have as much as them, so I understand that you might need a little bit more than they have. So here, let me make sure I'm giving you what you need to succeed. And that definitely stood out to me. Also, another one of their values was the value of the common good. Now that stands and says that they're basically, that they understand that there are underserved communities, and there are minorities and people that don't get the same kind of care, and that they value that. And I was like, that definitely stood out, because right now, we all know that Black women are dying when they're delivering babies. The maternal death rate is through the roof, and it's scary. That's one of the main reasons I even continue to go into this field, is because I do want to help Black people, and I understand that we're dying. Sometimes we're not educated, we're not being listened to, and that's something I want to be able to provide for my patients, and of course to all races. But understand that's what's going on out here. So after I kind of saw those things, and I was kind of stuck. I remember telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, they're really going for everything that I believe in, and everything that I'm trying to push forward to into my career and push out into the world. So then after talking to my mom and kind of telling her, it was like, okay, it's time to look at requirements and how I'm going to apply. So I started looking, of course, you have to have things like, either a bachelor's, or if you have like a master's certificate, in nursing. You had to have your registered nurse license. The GPA requirement was a 3.3 at the time, but now it's a 3.0 to get into the program. And you had to have a C in statistics. Whatever that is, whatever that matters in nursing, honestly. So those are just the requirements, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty much hitting these requirements. The GRE isn't required, So, and that was definitely a big thing. If I saw the GRE was required, I was marking schools off my list, because I'm not taking the GRE. I'm not doing it. I already took the NCLEX. What else do you want from me? So I, of course, started working on stuff like, you have to have your resume. You have to do a personal statement, which it took me forever to do that personal statement, just because for me, I was having such bad writer's block. I couldn't put into words like why I wanted to go back to school and who I was and what I wanted to do. And I found that hard at the time. And then, but it seemed like once it clicked, though, it clicked. And I was writing away. I had one of my close friends, I had them proofread 1,000,000 times my personal statement. So you have to have 3 letters of recommendation. The one of them has to be from somebody that works in your field. So, the field that you want to study. So for me, I knew some midwives, but at the time I didn't feel like I knew them close enough as far to ask them to write a letter of recommendation for me. I chose an OB that I used to work with. She was amazing. She was one of the only female OBs she was the only female OB in her practice, and one of the very few female OBs that worked with our hospital. And the way she handled herself, I love her. I love the way she does everything. So I was like, yes, I want somebody like this to write my letter of rec. Then you have to also have a professor, somebody that's been your teacher, write a letter. I chose one of my favorite nursing professors. She really stood out to me. She made a difference in my nursing career. She made me, she definitely made a difference. She was on my neck while I was in school, but she definitely made sure that I kind of was good at what I did, and that she made me want to be like her, basically. And then another one would have to be like a nursing supervisor or somebody that was over you at work. I chose the person that actually precepted me, so the person that actually made me into a nurse, as I like to say, because we were together for a long time. She literally taught me her ways. And I took a lot of them and ran with them. She knows. You have to do a live interview. And for me, because I was so worried, like my GPA at the time, well, my GPA was a 3.21 when I graduated South, and I didn't feel like my GPA, was high enough. I was worried, even though I had all these extracurriculars, I had experience in my field. I even did the additional statement on my application because I was like, just to let them know, like, I can do this. Don't look at my GPA. I promise I am not my GPA. I even applied very early. I did the early priority deadline because I was like, I want to show these people, like, hey, I'm trying to get into this school. I'm trying to do this work. And I remember I was getting off of work and I just happened to be checking my email. It was June 14th, okay? I was getting off of work, my overnight shift. I'm checking my email, just checking it. I was actually on the phone with my mom I'm literally telling her, like, hey, Mom, yeah, I'm finna go lay down, go to bed, yada, yada, yada. I check my email, and then I see this email, and it's like, I have to sign my intent to enroll. And I was like, sign an intent to enroll? I ain't got no acceptance letter. And then, bloop, clicked on it, and there was my acceptance. I was ecstatic because, honestly, I threw all my eggs in one basket. I did not truly know, like, what I wanted. Like, I didn't want to go anywhere else. So I didn't see anywhere else that, like, really stuck out to me. And I was like, I want to go to this school. And so I was like, I'm just going to throw all my eggs in one basket, which is something I truly never do. But I did for this. I threw them all in there. And whew, it worked out for my good. Okay? Thank you. So classes will be starting for me after Labor Day. I have 2 classes this semester, healthcare ethics, and I am in advanced pathophysiology. And everybody that's taken a patho class, y'all know, patho is no joke. So each class meets once a week. I am excited to see how I'm going to be able to mush all this in to, like, with my work schedule. Plus, living my life. Like, I don't believe, in completely shutting out everything in your life because it's just not healthy. So I'm excited to share this journey with you guys. I hope you guys tune in for our next video.